Good day. Today we are going to talk about a Bible study method which describes what God is like. Now notice here, it says God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. Now, we understand what this says. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. But we are going to change that to saying God is our refuge God. Now you might say, that doesn't make any sense. God is our refuge and strength. Yes, but for this example, we are trying to think about what God is like by looking at what God does. God is our refuge God. God is our strength God. God is the ever-present help in times of trouble God. So what we are doing is changing what it says so that we can think to ourselves, what is God like? Well, He is the refuge God. He is the strength God. He is the ever-present help in times of trouble God. Okay. Now why are we doing this? Because we're trying to think. We're trying to force ourselves not simply to read what it says, but actually to think about who God is. What is God like? He is like a refuge. He is like our strength. He is an ever-present help in times of trouble. Now we come to the second verse, and it's a little more difficult because it doesn't talk about God, it talks about ourselves. But there is something here. Therefore, we will not fear. Well, what can we say about this? We can say that God is the enabling us not to fear God. Now the rest of it, though the earth is transformed, and the mountains are toppled into the depths of the sea, though their waters foam and roar, and the mountains quake in the surge, it doesn't seem like there's anything here that tells us what God is like. Of course, God is not bothered by those things. God is not stopped by those things. So you could say, God is the unstopped by any force of nature God. That would be good enough. Other than that, what are we accomplishing? When we read this psalm, we begin to learn what God is like to help us to think of what the psalm tells us about what God is like. Thus ends our first lesson on how to interpret a passage for this course.